Hello everyone, I am Carla Jackson, owner of K Jackson Events and Design, K Jackson Design Academy, and Designing with K, and welcome to my YouTube channel. On today, I want to discuss with you guys venue ownership. For those of you who don't know anything about me, let me fill you in. I am a venue owner in the Atlanta, Georgia area. I've been in event design, floral design for almost 20 years. I have been a venue owner now for the last 3 years, owning 2 venues and opening up a design academy. I get a lot of questions in regards to what is it like to own a venue and how do you go about owning a venue. So today I decided to film a video and come to you guys explaining to you what I learned along the way, and hopefully some of what I've learned will help you as you plan to open up your venue, or if you're interested, it'll give you an idea if this is something that you really want to jump into. I'm going to reference a few of my notes, so I'll be looking down a little bit as I go over things that I have learned along the way, and hopefully something that I'm disclosing to you will help you, again, plan or assess whether or not owning a venue is the right fit for you. So how do you start and manage an event venue? I would say, questions I get all the time is, what is it like to start and operate a venue? Oh my God, it is so fulfilling and it's so rewarding. However, to start it, it required a lot of research. And when I say research, meaning you can't just jump out there because you find a building and hey, it might have the adequate space, the square footage is great, it's amazing. But unfortunately, you need to go out to your county and you need to find out about zoning. You need to find out what are the county codes, get with the fire marshal, find out whether or not, there are certain things you can and cannot do in the area in which you have found your building, your dream building. But those are things to consider. A few of the things I ran into were zoning. My first location was in a community, and I had to actually go through zoning, spend lots of time at town hall meetings with the mayor of the city, explaining my business to them and exactly what I was going to bring to their city and their county, for that matter, in order for them to allow me to have access to that building to be utilized in the capacity in which I wanted to, which was for an event facility to do weddings and parties and things of that nature. It even entailed me having to go out through the neighborhood and collect signatures on petitions, letting the residents of the community know what I was bringing to their community, the noise ordinance and things of that nature. So those were important. It also included things like liquor. Think about it. If you want to open up a venue, and that venue in that area, you cannot serve alcohol or sell alcohol, is it going to be successful? Because people, let's be honest, how many events do you know that people have where there's not adults engaging in adult beverages? So those are things that I had to consider. And if I wanted to serve alcohol, what did that entail? Making sure that my bartenders were certified, though people call it licensed, certified bartenders, and that I had liquor liability insurance in addition to the insurance that was needed for my building, for accidents and incidentals, making sure that there was liquor liability insurance. Because whether or not you believe it, and even as just an event planner, you are considered a host. So be mindful when you do parties with clients, if they have a bartender there and if they're going to serve alcohol, that you need to make sure that that bartender or that event hall or that client has taken out liability insurance for that liquor, because if not, if anything happens once they leave that premises, you are accountable for it. You too, event planners, can be included in that. But as a venue owner, you most definitely have to cover yourself in that aspect. So when I say legal requirements, again, research, contract legalities. People share contracts. I'm one to tell you all the time, just because someone has a contract, that contract, and it could have been written by an attorney, that contract is specific to their county, their state, their ordinances. It doesn't apply to you all the time. So the best thing to do is to, if you want to purchase a copy from someone, that's fine. Get a copy of their contract, look at it, pull things out that you think you could utilize in your venue or in your event planning business. However, the most brilliant thing to do would be to seek the advice of an attorney. Invest in that attorney client relationship and allow he or she to design and construct a contract that's specific for your needs, for your venue, for your design business. And I know I got off of event venue ownership and went to the design part, but I just want to share that this part too can apply to designers. You know, make sure that that contract covers you for alcohol, for liability, for anything. Make sure that that contract is specific for the services that you are rendering in your state and in your county. Again, I'm not going to ever tell you, I have a contract that I believe is just airtight. And I know that because I presented it to a judge who told me that all of my T's were crossed and my I's were dotted. However, it might not work for someone who is in Alabama. Again, I'm in Georgia, but you can utilize that contract to pull key elements out, and you present your contract to your attorney. I constructed my contract before I went to my attorney, and all he had to do was just modify a few things, and he only modified just a minimum of things, and he actually shook my hand and said I did an amazing job constructing it because I covered myself all around. How do you know if owning a venue is right for you? You got to have a passion to serve people. Venues are expensive. It's not a get-rich-quick kind of thing. You have to be willing to work. You know, in the beginning, you have to ask yourself, am I willing to market, brand, do tours, do contracts, clean toilets, vacuum, mop floors, take out trash, you know, coordinate tours? Am I willing to sacrifice myself in all of those facets of a job and job titles? Because when you first start out, you might not have the resources to have a team or staff there to assist you with those things. So all of that is important when you're thinking about owning and operating and managing a venue. How to be a successful venue owner. Success, again, it really is defined. Some people say lots of money in the bank. I say having money in the bank and having yourself still solid, meaning you are still a part of a search engine and people are still coming to your business and spending with you. Spend, to me, equals success. Customer service equals success. Longevity equals success. So making sure that, you know, to be successful, you have to sacrifice yourself. And it's a lot of sacrifices and a lot of family time and a lot of personal time. Keep in mind, you're doing the tours. You know, are you going to be able to come in and physically do your tours? I am fortunate enough to be able to do my own tours. My system is not automated, but that's a system that I have looked into for when we're on vacation or whatever, being able to allow potential clients access to the venue to do tours and leave literature out for them. But those are things you have to think about. Accessibility for your clients. That means you have to be available, and are you willing to give up that time? How are you going to collect your payments? How are you going to do contracts? You know, millennials out here, everybody wants everything to be quick and easy and smooth. A lot of people don't want to come in and sit down and fill out paperwork. Some people really just want you to upload a document to them, and they take it from there and scan it and email it back to you. You know, what software programs are you? Because you have to invest in this stuff. It's not something that's given to you for free. You know, you have to spend money in it. You got to be flexible too, because people don't work. People that work 9 to 5 really need someone. I'm in Georgia. Commutes here are terrible. So I have to be accessible to do tours at 8 o'clock at night sometimes. I've done tours at 10 p.m., but that's really up to you. And you have to be hungry. You got to be thirsty for it. You know, success does not come overnight. And if you are not a person who is willing to sacrifice your state of having your time, your me time, to accommodate the needs of someone else and others, then this might not be a good fit for you, the venue ownership part. But I'm just saying, these are things that I have experienced. And this is what I know I had to do in order to be able to say I'm opening up venue number 2 within a 3-year span. Having a venue for me is a dream. It's a passion. I have a niche for people. I love serving people. But most importantly, I got into this business because I was tired of the 9 to 5. I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to create a stream of income that could sustain my home and also give me flexibility. And I wanted to be able to allow my clients access to to something nice without having to spend a whole lot of money, but at the same time, be able to give them an experience when they came into my venue. You got to know your niche. You got to know your niche. You can't have your hands in everything. I always tell people, I am in venue ownership, design, event planner. I am a designer. I'm an event planner. I'm a coordinator. I am a venue owner. I deal with interior design. I deal with all things in that same circle, which means I focus only on those things. I'm not trying to sew a wedding dress. So you have to know your passion and know what you are willing to sacrifice for it. You need to have a practical plan, a solid foundation, know exactly what it is you want to do. You got to have dedication. You have to sacrifice. You also need technical skills. You need to be technically savvy, computer savvy. You need to have management skills. You need to have finance skills, record keeping, marketing skills. You have to be a jack of many trades, a master of all of them, and wear multiple hats when you're first starting out as a venue owner. And sometimes, even as you progress along the way, you still are involved in your venue. I will never not be an asset to my business, meaning I will always be frontline and center because that is my business. It's my brand, it's my venue, and it represents me and something that I'm giving back to my community and the cities around me. And then you have to ask yourself too, why do you want to own a venue? If you're in it because you're thinking you're going to make a lot of money, I'm going to give you an X, long answer. It's not going to happen like that. You got to nurture this thing. You got to stroke it, you got to rub it, and you got to finesse it. It's not going to happen overnight. Venue ownership does not bring you lots of money in your bank account overnight. It takes time. It takes time. I cannot stress that enough. Again, it entails you serving people. You're your own boss. But you also have to ask, are you willing to sacrifice your standard of living? Are you willing to take the hits? Because all the time is not going to be revenue on the table for you. So are you willing to take the hit? Are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to serve people? And there's no wrong answer to this. I'm just saying those are things that you really have to look into your heart and ask yourself, are these things that I'm really willing to do? Am I willing to give up, going to get my hair done, my nails done, shopping, my red bottoms, my designer bags? Am I willing to sacrifice all of that while I clean toilets, looking ahead for my future? Because that's technically and basically what you have to do. You have to technically put yourself in all job positions, and basically you sacrificing you to make it happen for the big picture. And again, it doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. Because you might go from where you might say, hey, I'm getting out of this because I'm tired of my 9 to 5. You might go from your 9 to 5 to an 8 to 10. Sometimes I go to work. I go in. My hours are 10 to 7. I start at 10 and they don't end sometime to 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm back at it again. I have spent the night in my venue. It's a passion for me. It's a love for me. It's not a hobby. It's a business. But I have to work my business in order for my business to be successful. So owning a venue has pros and cons. Then you ask yourself, do you have the resources to stay afloat? If something was to happen, will you be able to put yourself in a position to be able to take care of the utilities. Owning a venue, there's rent or mortgage payment, unless you are building it from the ground up, but you still have to sacrifice that money. There's liability insurance for the venue, for alcohol, for food serving, for your employees, workers' compensation, health insurance if you're going to offer those things, utilities. Are you willing, that money, you need to have some type of solid foundation for that portion of your business, even when you're just starting out. Because remember, until you're signing contracts, you are responsible for that lease or that mortgage payment. When you go into that venue, the work that has to be done, the floors, the painting, inventory, tables, chairs, tablecloths, supplies, putting in hand sinks. Is so much go into it on the backside that you don't really see when you rent the venue space what the owner has gone through to get you to the process where you can rent his or her space. Working 12, 16-hour shifts. Am I ready to do it? Do I have the stamina to do it? Am I emotionally strong enough to do it? Is it going to cause conflict within my relationships with my family and my children, my spouse? Am I willing to sacrifice me from them? It's not just financial sacrifice. It's emotional sacrifice goes into it too. Describe your business. When you sit down and you say, I want to open up a venue, I want to find a space, and I want to operate my own venue. Describe that business. Describe it. What's the product that you're offering? And also ask yourself, is the product that is me owning a venue, is it going to fulfill a need in the area where I want to put it? It's the market where I want to put my venue. Is it accessible? Does it fill a need for the people in the community? Will it serve in an existing market? If it's already venues there, can I come in and piggyback off the top of these or on the back of them and be successful? Is there a need for another one of what's already there in my market? Is it enough parking? Is it handicap accessible? All of those things are things that you really have to think about when you're looking into owning a business. Do you know who your customer will be? Do you understand their needs? Do you understand their desires? Do you understand their yearly income? Do you know where they live? Do you know what they like? Do you know their hobbies? Is the service that you're offering, do you think it's something that they will buy? Does it drive them? Do they need it? Is it a plus? Is it a given? Will your prices be competitive of quality and value for the current market that you're trying to jump into in that same demographic? Because remember, you're coming into an area where you ask yourself, hey, can they utilize another venue? Yeah, sure they can. Okay, but is my venue going to have the same quality, service, and value that these prior venues have, that the current venues have in that area? Do I have the finances to bring it up to par so it can be competitive with what's already currently in that area? Do you know how to compare yourself to other venues? I personally, I am not the high-end venue. I'm not the lower-end venue. I'm right there in between. I can compete with the higher-end venue depending on what the client's specifics are. However, I know that I am in the middle. So I market myself to the middle and the above, and I hit some of the bottom, but at my other location, we were able to fulfill the needs of the ones who did not have the budgets to come into that middle or the above middle venue ownership. Do you know how to compare yourself to these people? Where's the community located? You're hearing in the housing market, location, location, location. Location is very important. So those are the things that really, really can define and determine whether or not, venue ownership is for you. Again, I love being a venue owner. I absolutely love it. I adore it. I have sacrificed a lot of time, a lot of hours, a lot of quality time with my family, with my husband, with my children, with my grandchildren, to be able to do what I do. And if you're not emotionally able to do that, physically able to do it, because it's going to require a lot of work. You're going to spend long hours You're going to spend a lot of money when it comes to going into a location. When you find that building, once you're going through zoning and coding, now you got to figure out how to bring this building up to par. It's very rare that if you find a diamond in the rough that you have to do absolutely nothing to. Thumbs up. But I've had 2 venues, and for both of them, I've had to go in and literally start from the ceiling to the floor working. That's finance. I have not, one thing I proud myself on is my business has never had a loan. It has never borrowed money. I do not owe anyone but rent, utilities, and insurance, and my employees. I am so proud of myself for that, but I made good financial decisions along the way. I own all of my inventory. Nothing I have is financed. Everything belongs to me, even the work vehicles. So I say, you have to know, if you're willing to sacrifice financials, and along the way, as you try to build your business and money is not coming in like you think it should be, or that because right now in your mind, you have this dream and it looks like it's so lavish and it's luxe, and you're saying, oh my God, if I had a venue, I could make all this money. It's not going to happen like that. It's not going to happen like that. It takes time. So you got to have the money on the backside to carry you until you can get there. And you also have to realize that you're not going to have the people, the personnel to help you as you get there financially. So you're going to have to do a lot of work. Got to do a lot of elbow rubbing, and you're physically involved, financially, emotionally involved. But if God has placed it in your heart to own a venue, and you know that is your calling, trust your process and trust God. I always tell people He will not bring you to it if He doesn't plan to bring you through it. And I know you've heard that a million times, but when I say it, I do everything on faith, and I believe in me. I know my niche. I'm not out trying to do multiple things. I'm doing multiple things, but everything that I do pertains to that one thing: event planning, design, venue ownership. I am not doing anything other than, I'm not selling jewelry. I am not making gift baskets. I am only focused on anything dealing with design. So if you know that this is something that you really want to do, and you have the resources, the stamina, and the emotional support that you're going to need from your friends and family, and some physical support, because you're not going to be able to do the cleanup pre and post a lot of these events by yourself. If you are prepared to deal with coding, zoning, the county and the state regulations, if you are ready financially and emotionally, go ahead. I wish you the best of luck. I am always available. Again, I am Carla Jackson, better known as K Jackson, with K Jackson Events and Design, K Jackson Design Academy, and Designing with K on this YouTube channel. You can always hit me up, ask me questions, give me a phone call, schedule a one-on-one, come in, do consultations with me. You can always do Zoom videos with me, or any method of video conference calling with me. I'm open to pour into you, because I want to pour into you. I want to see you succeed, but I also want you to be realistic about the desires of your heart, realistic about your budgets when it comes to owning and opening up and operating and managing a venue, being realistic about your expectations from that venue. But most importantly, knowing why you believe owning a venue is right for you. And until next time, again, follow me on social media, K Jackson Events and Design, K Jackson Design Academy, and on YouTube, I'm Designing with K. And most importantly, do not forget to click that subscription button below. And until next time, you guys continue to plan, design till your hearts are content. So let's recap what we just discussed when it comes to owning an event venue. Number one, find a building. Make sure it's affordable, with or without events. Number two, review your resources. Look at your financials and see, hey, Meaning, go look online, go to your bank account and say, hey, do we have the money here? Or be knowledgeable of your resources. Do I have the money to do the first, the last, the middle, and afford all incidentals or anything else that comes up in this? Number 3, discuss it with the city and the county. Go to zoning, go to the city hall, get your licenses. Let them know what you're planning to utilize the space for. Make sure you disclose all information to them, because if you do not, then your license will be only specific for certain things. And if an officer happens to walk in the middle of one of your events and you're doing something other than what's you have been licensed to do, then you could receive a fine. So make sure you are very open with them and let them know what your intentions are for the space in which you're renting. Discuss it with the city and county. Check with zoning, like I said. Check with the fire marshal, because the fire marshal has to come out and he or she will tell you, your exit signs, your fire extinguishers, your exit doors, things of that nature. That's what they come out and do. And you have to pay for those inspections. So make sure you go on their website if your county offers that. I know here, for the county in which my venues were in, that we could actually go online and download the checklist and get everything in place before we actually went online and requested an inspection, because that's how you get your occupancy rating, how many people your event hall can hold. But you have to go through the fire marshal to receive that. And then after that, before you call the fire marshal, make sure you brought the building up to standards. Make sure that you've done. Now, you can't do any additions or anything like that without going through coding and permits. You cannot just go in knocking out walls. You can't knock out walls or add hosing, grease traps, and things of that nature without going through coding. But you can paint, do the floors, remodel, like if you want to put a design on the wall or something, clean up, things of that nature. You can do that without going through coding. That's not something that they would, man you to just do with a permit. But if you want to hang light fixtures and things of that nature, that needs a permit. So you need to go through them to do that, changing out lights and things of that nature. Anything that could be a hazard later on. So bring that space up to standards. Turn on your utilities. You got to do that too. You need to turn on your utilities. You need lights. You need running water. If you're going to have your space internet accessible, go ahead and call out an internet provider to do that. Order your dumpsters. If you're going to have a kitchen there, order your grease trap. Clean your grease trap. You need a separate you need a sink for hand washing. Things of that nature. Have those things installed, because when you call out the fire marshal, you want to make sure all of those things are done, because once they come out, they charge you for area inspection. So they come out and you need a hand sink. Guess what? You got to pay for that inspection, and you have to pay for the next one for them to come out after you've had it installed. So now you have the fee of finding a contractor to install, get a permit, install the hand sink, and then come out to re-inspect. Same thing with your building signage. You need to make sure that you find a company that will give you the image of what they're going to create for you, the dimensions of it, and will be able to put it together for you, maybe like on a photo presentation with all of the dimensions outlined. You take that to coding, because they need a permit in order to hang a sign, in order to put you out on the marquee in front of the building. That's another permit. So make sure you're handling all of that. That's another crossing T's and dotting I's. And then the next thing you do after that, buy supplies, tables, chairs, linens, if you're going to do food, chafers, burners, dishes, if you're going to serve with china, anything you need to operate your events. And market. Now it's time to market. Hey, I spent all this money getting this thing ready. Can't wait to take pictures. Invest in a professional photographer. Market your business. Market your new venue. Welcome to the neighborhood. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Event Chalet, whatever you name it, but market it. And the final thing I will leave you guys with is get those contracts signed. You can have a venue with all the bells and whistles. You need those contracts signed and have great terms in those contracts to cover your monthly rent. Have great terms in there to cover your utilities. Receive residual income. Payments. Structure your payments. Do not let people give you $100 deposit and you don't hear from them no more until the week of the event. In between that, if you have the resources to pay your rent or your utilities, then that's fine. But if you do not, or if you do and you do not want to exhaust your resources, make your clients pay for the usage of your space until they get to your space, because that's basically how that works.